Alrighty, in this video we're just going to import and set up the door. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the geometry folder. I went ahead and created a new one inside of that called door. And in the description you'll find a compressed document with 3 files in it, the door and the 2 animations. So I'm going to drag and drop the door in here first. Just import everything by default. And then the 2 animations, so open and close. Okay, did I mess up the... Let me double check, I may have messed up the export. Alrighty, yeah, I had to re-export, I had the wrong setting selected. So drag and drop the animations, make sure door skeleton is selected, and import all. Let's double check, door open, and door close. Okay, so they all seem to be going as intended. Let's head over to our blueprint for our door, click on our mesh, and we're going to sled it to the door. Now we have the option, we can click on the root here, and we have our open animation. So a door open, and then a door close for the close. Compile save. We are going to want this to replicate, so we can actually set that by default here in a little bit. But for now, I want to drag out the door and just kind of see what happens when I play. And obviously it's not going to replicate, but how did you get resized? I don't know. So here's the door. Whoops. What am I doing? Press F, and something fails. So, didn't seem like anything came up. So the first thing we're going to do actually is go to the door.cpp and set it to replicate. So B replicates equals true in the constructor. So we have that. Let's go ahead and control F11. And it just occurred to me why nothing happened. So if I walk to the door, I just walk completely right through it. There's no collision there. So we want to go ahead and go back to our door folder and open up the physics asset. And if we click on the blob here that it made, we can just delete it. Go to options, show all bones, right click on the root. We're going to add a shape. We're going to add a box. Then we're going to scale it. So press R to scale. Scale it up roughly the size of the door. Then we obviously have to scale it way up. About like so. So thickness wise, that's pretty close. So we can hit save. And now let's check it again. Go ahead and just play in the viewport. All right, so I am still walking right through the door. So it's acting like it has no collision. So let's double check and look at it. So go to our collision, and by default it's set to no collision. So we can open up the blueprint and we can go ahead and fix that. So if we scroll down to collision, let's select the mesh component first, then go down to collision, set collision to block all, because obviously a door is meant to block everything. So we file save, save all. Now we can walk. As you can see, we're running into the door. So I press F on the door now, and it opens. I press F again, nothing happens. I press F one more time, it closes. Press F again, it fails. Press F one more time, it opens. So that was the issue that I was mentioning in the previous video. So let's test and see the replication in action if it works. I press F, it opens on the server. Press F again, it misses until I hit it on the server. When the server does it, it's still failing. So that's because when we did the live coding, I don't think this took effect. So let's open up the door and look. It did not, so replicates as false. Let's set it to true and do it one more time. So now, when we open on the client, as you can see, it works. So we're having the same deal here. So now this video is mostly just for importing the assets, but we mostly want to take a look at in the next video how to alter the pickup and the drop functions, because we don't necessarily want them to be called pickup and drop, because we're using this interact function kind of as a general way to call the function interact. So just because we call interact, we don't necessarily want to call pickup or drop, because that's not necessarily what we're doing in this case. Now we're switching to opening and closing doors. So we kind of want to just remove these all together and figure out some other alternative to handling this. And I already have an idea in mind, and I mentioned in the previous video. So we're probably going to pursue that first unless we can come up with a better method. So anyways, as I stated before, the door and the animation will be linked in the description below for you to download. And if you have any questions or anything like that, you can also find my Discord down there. And as always, if you want to help support me, you can find a link to my Patreon down there as well, where I have a Patreon-only series where we create team deathmatch from the ground up with Unreal Engine and C++. And we have a bunch of other features in there like custom spawning, weapon customizers, and all that fun stuff. So, as always, I'll see you in the next video.